Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a sports betting perspective. With pro handicappers Alex B. Smith and veteran sports writer Jimmy Murphy. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Saturday, November 20th, Ian Cameron, Jimmy Murphy, and we'll have Andrew McInnis momentarily as well, ready for a massive Saturday NHL card. We've got a ton of games, 12 games on tap on this Saturday. So let's get right to it. We'll start with a couple of afternoon games, the first one being the New Jersey Devils and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay minus 200. Home favorites here, 5.5 the total in this one. The Tampa Bay Lightning definitely playing some good hockey as of late. They have won 7 of their last 9. They have not lost in regulation during that span. They have definitely picked things up, played Stanley Cup championship caliber hockey, which, of course, this team looking to win a Stanley Cup for a third straight year. They knocked off the Flyers in a shootout 4-3. Really controlled that game. They fell behind early, but kept stuck with it, and they ended up getting the victory in that one. New Jersey's lost 3 in a row against Boston, the Rangers, and the Panthers. They will look to bounce back here in this one against Tampa Bay. We'll see if they are able to do that. We do have Tampa Bay here returning home from that road game against the Flyers, but Tampa Bay playing some really good hockey, and we're seeing the Devils kind of struggle a little bit in the last 3 games offensively as well. They've had some issues in terms of a defensive play as well. They've given up 4 goals or more in 3 straight games, so it's been a little bit of a struggle for Mackenzie Blackwood as well, who ended up getting pulled in the loss to Florida the other night, and he has a 3.04 goals against and 923 save percentage so far on the season for the New Jersey Devils. So he's kind of struggled to find his best game since returning from that stint away from the team and absent to begin the year for Blackwood. So he's kind of struggled early on. This is a game I'm going to pass. I don't really have a strong opinion side or total in this one, but definitely Tampa Bay. 7 of their last 9 they've won. They've definitely played good hockey of late. Jimmy, what do you think here, Devils and Lightning?
Yeah, I mean, look, Tampa's coming in playing, as you said, they're trending upwards and Jersey's trending downwards here. So I got 2 plays actually on this, Ian. I'm going to go with the first period over because you can get some really good value on this right now as well. And then I'm also going to look at a Jimmy puck line here. Give me Tampa Bay minus 1.5.
All right, Carolina, Los Angeles. We've got Carolina minus 160, road favorites, 5.5 being the total here in this game. The Carolina Hurricanes ending the win streak for the Anaheim Ducks on Thursday night with a 2-1 victory over the Ducks. That's now 3 straight wins for Carolina after they lost at home to Philadelphia 2-1 before that. But so far, so good in terms of the start to this road trip for the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll see if they can keep it rolling here against the LA Kings, who have now dropped 2 games in a row, losing to Winnipeg 3-2, losing to Washington by a score of 2-0. We'll see how it goes here for them, but definitely the Hurricanes, they've won 3 straight head-to-head against the Los Angeles Kings. And when you look at this Carolina team, here's a goal scorer prop. I don't really love a side or total in this game. I certainly don't want to step in front of Carolina, but probably not going to lay a $1.60 with them here in this game either. But there's a couple guys you want to look at here. Seth Jarvis for Carolina, a rookie. He has not looked out of place whatsoever. He's getting the minutes, top line duty with Sebastian Aho and Andrei Svechnikov, 3 goals in 8 games. It's another one of these classic prop situations for yours truly, where you all of a sudden get someone with that bump in minutes, elevated in the lineup. In this case with Jarvis, he's going up to the top line for this Carolina team. And boy, has he made an impact. You see what he's been able to do offensively. He's chipped in. He's contributed. It's been impressive to see. He scored in back-to-back games against Vegas and Anaheim earlier this week. And that's always someone I target here. And down the list, you can get plus 400 anytime goal scorer for him in this game against the LA Kings. And you better believe I'm going to have a few bucks on that. Again, these are the kind of situations that I love when betting player props. The guy that's elevated, getting the more minutes, up the lineup, top line now. He scored in back-to-back games, making an impact. And I think that's a good, not just good, a great value player prop here. Seth Jarvis, Carolina, plus 400 here to score a goal in this one. Jimmy, what are your thoughts here on this one, Canes and Kings?
You know what, Ian? I'm going to hop on that with you. That's a great call by you. Good kid. I heard a lot about him before the season started to keep an eye for him, and he's definitely delivered so far. So I'm going to jump on that as well. But I'm also going to jump on the under here, and two unders, actually. I'm going to take a first period under and the under in the total. You look at these day games in LA, guys, and the one thing that the Kings have going against them, though they have won some of them, but the one thing about the atmosphere is, guys, it's beautiful still out in California right now. Nobody wants to sit inside the Staples Center and watch a hockey game when it's 80 degrees and then you got the Santa Monica Boulevard there. Come on. There's going to be nobody at this game, and it's just a dull atmosphere, and that's why I don't like a lot of goals. It's a hard game for both teams to get up for. So give me those two unders, the first period under and the under 5.5.
Yeah, definitely interesting. And that makes some sense because this is 1 p.m. Pacific local time in Los Angeles where this game starts. So you're right. It's not gotten to the point there where it's rarely ever gets to the point where the weather's cold and dreary and frigid in LA, obviously. But yeah, the point is well taken that, yeah, there might be a little bit of a sterile environment and atmosphere, if you will, in Staples Center here today. But yeah, I think Carolina's probably going to win the game. I just don't love minus 160 in this spot here. Third game of the road trip. When you look at what they've got as well coming up, Carolina, we'll see. They've got lots of games left. They're going to be on the road for a little bit still. So they're definitely better than LA, but it's a fair price, minus 160. You're not getting the bargain by any stretch. We got Andrew McInnis with us now. Andrew, welcome in. Thoughts on the two games taking place this afternoon? New Jersey, Tampa Bay, and also Carolina, LA.
I like one over and I like one under. And I like the under that you guys are on. I think it's a great point by Jimmy. I think that just in general, as much as I've loved to look at Carolina overs this year in general, they've been a team that has scored. I think that we're going to start seeing things level out with them, but also with the LA Kings. And that early start time, I take a lot into it. So I'm happy to hear you guys think the same. And it is a really early start. I mean, it's not like a 3 o'clock start in Boston or a 4 o'clock start or, something like that. It's, 1 p.m. local time in LA. And like Jimmy said, probably the last place anybody wants to do right now on a Saturday afternoon in LA is go to a hockey rink. But yeah, I think that we're going to see things slow down. I like the first period under. I can't exactly explain why, but I think that I'll put it like this. Sometimes it takes that first big hit or first big goal to kind of open things up. And once the things open up, maybe we do see a bunch of goals, but I'll hope on the first period being low scoring. But as far as the Tampa Bay game against New Jersey, I like the over in that game. I see Tampa Bay, they've played some quality opponents recently, put up goals against them. New Jersey has given up some goals, and this could be just me, guys, but I've noticed that Tampa Bay has been one of those teams recently where they've kind of taken it lightly against some of the worst teams and played a lot better against some of the top tier teams. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Tampa let a few in tonight against New Jersey, and we'll see some goals tonight. Also, I have to mention this real quick. Kotkaniemi, everybody was ripping on the Canadiens. I got to show we're doing nothing right on the ice. So I got to say this guy's getting paid 6.1 mil or something like that right now. Let's check his stats. Let's check his numbers, how many goals and points he has in his last several games, because the troll job right now isn't looking too quality for the Hurricanes. And I like KK, but I'm just saying 6.1 mil, Jimmy, that's a lot of money for a guy right now.
No, I mean, look, guys, I think it was one of those drafts where it wasn't a great draft when he was drafted. And he was, I think, in another better draft, he's not ranked as high and he's not getting picked where he was. And I just have always seen this guy as a second line, maybe definitely a third line guy. And I think the Canes overpaid for him.
Yeah, and Rod Brindamore's treating him accordingly right now with the struggles. He's gone pointless in 6 games. 6 games without a point. He had a season low, less than 10 minutes of ice time the other night. So he's in the fourth line right now. That's what he is at this point in time. He's been dropped down. I bet
he's driving a nicer car than last year, though.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. Hey, you're playing on the fourth line, but you're making a big shitload of money. Things are all right in Jesperi Kotkaniemi's world right now for the Carolina Hurricanes. Minnesota, Florida. Things are all right in Florida's world, even without Barkov the other night. Impressive win for them against New Jersey, 4-1. Now it's the second game, though, without Barkov. It's one thing to show in the first game you can win without him. Can you bring that same edge with you to the rink tonight against a better Minnesota team? That's the question. Florida minus 145, home favorite, 6 the total. We need to point this out. Florida hasn't lost at home yet this year. 9 home wins to begin the year, no losses here on home ice. So they have defended home ice very well. Very impressed with their game the other night against Minnesota. And it's the guys you expect to step up for them that got the job done. Jonathan Huberdeau, Duclair, Verhaeghe, Luosterainen. And look, by the way, keep an eye on him. I've mentioned him for goal scorer props. Luosterainen has stepped up for them, scoring some goals lately for Florida. And look, they got 4 goals. Their offense, certainly the 2 games at home, 6 and 4 goals against the Islanders and the Devils. You look at home this year, Florida, they've done a great job finding the back of the net. 4.878 goals per game at home this year. 4.78 for the Florida Panthers in terms of goals scored at home this year. So they have definitely played good hockey here on home ice. We'll see if they can keep it going against the Minnesota Wild, who are coming off a 7-2 drubbing over the Dallas Stars. They bounced back from a disheartening 4-1 loss at home to San Jose the game before that. They've played well as well the last 8 games, 6-2 in the last 8 for Minnesota going into this game. I've been impressed with what we've seen from them. I would lean over here. I was disappointed it was 6 across the board. I was hoping for 5.5, didn't get it, but I'd still lean over. The series history has been very over-friendly between these two teams. The last 8 meetings, we had 6 goals, 11, 6, 6, 6, 8, 6, 9. Not one game below 6 goals between these two teams in the last 8 meetings. So it kind of feels like even if you bet 6 over the total here, push probably at the worst case scenario if you buy into that. Last 8 games, head-to-head, Wild and Panthers, not a single one below 6 goals. So that would be the way I would go here, is over the total. I'm not going to lay the price with Florida, but I'm not going against them with an unblemished home mark either. So the over is the way I would go here in this one. Jimmy, Minnesota, Florida.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm loving over in this. So I'm going to do a first period over and an over in this game right now. I don't have anything on the side because I think it could end up being a great game. I mean, Minnesota's a solid team, right? And these are two teams that have had a good start to the season. So give me that first period over and the total over.
All right, good stuff. And again, Alexander Barkov, it's week to week for him with the lower body injury. And I like the attitude, though, for the Panthers, and they're saying all the right things. Is like, our captain would want us to go out there and play our best and win every single game we can. So, they're given that attitude that, hey, we're going to miss him. And obviously he does so much for us, both ends of the ice, wins key faceoffs as well, plays in all situations. But we want to show Barkov, in the time that he's out, that we can still keep going, keep moving forward and winning games without him. And good start in that regard with the win against New Jersey the other night. Andrew, your thoughts here, Minnesota, Florida?
Well, to be honest, guys, this is a spot where I kind of want to fade Florida, but the only problem is that they lost those, was it 4 games or 5 games in a row, Ian? 4 games in a row.
Do you really want to stop at 1 win or a couple wins, I should say now, the Islanders and Devils back to back?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem, is that I've been saying recently with the NHL that a lot of times you have to look for a team that's, when they're going to get on a run, and you got to back them at the start of the run. You don't want to back them at the end of that run. And the question is right now, is Florida about to go on one? And I've always said that they're a deep team, and that's why they improved so much last year. I think you talked on yesterday's show, Ian, about Sam Bennett. I think you were, or at least a couple days ago, and what he's been able to contribute to the team. And a lot of times I'm someone that mentioned that kind of stuff as well. 3rd-line players, even 4th-line players kind of get some mention from me. But I look at this Minnesota team, and I look at that loss they had against San Jose and bouncing back with 7 goals against Dallas. I'll tell you, I think that this Minnesota team is very up and down. They seem, but this year and last year, to have some troubles with their confidence. And when they get their confidence back, you don't want to mess with it. And I think that the over might seem like you said, an easy play to make based on the stats we've seen, but I'm not going to shy away from it. And the fact of the matter is, I actually looked at I played the under in the Florida-New Jersey game last time around. And the only reason why it went under is because New Jersey didn't do anything themselves. So I feel like we will get something out of the Wild in this game. And I might even hope that we see a low-scoring first period, at least first 10 minutes, and then jump on an in game as well. But I'll tell you, there's just something in my gut that wants to back Terry's team, and maybe it's because it was his birthday yesterday. I don't know, but I kind of like the Wild, and I kind of like the price here. What is it? What's the live price now? Like plus
125, plus 130.
130-ish. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the Wild, but I'm going to stick with the over for now. We'll see if I can get there with the side.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I kind of think Minnesota's got a chance in this game, no question. But they're undefeated at home. I just don't want to step in front of that, until I see them lose on home ice this year, Florida. All right, Nashville, Montreal. Nashville minus 125, road favorites, 5.5 the total in this one. I haven't said this very often, but I'm saying it tonight. Give me Nashville in this game. It's done for Montreal. Like, this is pathetic now. There's been game after game. We want some effort, some sign of life, some sign of a pulse, and that was just beyond bad the other night against Pittsburgh, 6-0. I mean, obviously they're down to Primo and Montembeault in net until Price gets back and with Jake Allen out. But still, I mean, to have that kind of effort, give up 43 shots in that game, get outshot by 19. I mean, just not good enough for Montreal. And Nashville has been playing good hockey. And, even in the loss to Toronto, 3-0, they kept that game close for a while, and Toronto needed a few late goals later in the game to put it away. UC Saros is on top of his game. He's been terrific this year. And you're only laying, $1.25, $1.30 with Nashville here. So, and they've been off since that game against Toronto, which was way back on Tuesday. So you don't usually get a three-day break on the road, but Nashville's gotten that here in this game prior to this game tonight against Montreal. So I'm on Nashville here, minus 125. Only way I could bet the total is the under here. Montreal's having a tough time finding the back of the net. And like I say, Saros has been good in between the pipes. You got to hope maybe Montreal digs in defensively here. You got to think, hopefully you can, after giving up 6 to Pittsburgh the other night. I don't love the goaltending by any stretch of the imagination for Montreal right now, and it will be Montembeault in net tonight for them. But you just got to hope that after playing Pittsburgh, you see some focus on defense tonight for Montreal. So Nashville in the under for me in this one. Jimmy, your thoughts here? Preds, Habs.
Jimmy pass.
There you go. Jimmy pass for Jimmy Murphy in this one. Now, I have some Canadiens fans, Andrew, and I don't know if you agree with them or not, but they loved the great run last year. They're not really that pissed off or angry with what's happening right now. They're just, you know what? It is what it is. Maybe it's going to be one of those years you just regroup. You look at some young players. You give everybody in the organization a look, realizing that, obviously you've dug yourself almost an impossible hole to get out of right now. And you just look toward next year, 2 years, 3 years from now, and they're content with that. Are you content, or are you pissed off that Montreal's not been able to follow up that run to the Stanley Cup final so far this year?
I'll put it this way. I mean, I think that people, look at the Marc Bergevin quotes right now. He's obviously shocked. Like he's someone, one thing I like about Bergevin is that he doesn't really doesn't try and be super, politically correct as far as sounding like a true professional. Like, he is professional, but he just says what it is. He's like, yeah, I'm shocked right now. Or this guy needs to be played better and stuff like that. But I think the fact of the matter is, people hate on the Canadiens so much because they don't have that much flash. And that's why everyone called last year's run a fluke. But I think that Philip Deneau is now thinking, wow, I was a huge part of that team. He probably already knew that, but I think all kinds of fans, and I hate to be this guy because I never say stuff like this, but people just don't care about anything besides the flashy stuff. It's why so many fans of teams are delusional because they have such star players. Why do you think that Dallas doesn't do well every year? Because they do well, but they don't make that next step because they only have so many guys that can score the puck. And this is the problem, I think, that is going on with the Canadiens right now, is that they eliminated, I think, some of that defensive stuff with Deneau and Eric Stahl. Even people hate on Eric Stahl, but veteran presence, someone that kind of knows the game IQ at least. Corey Perry, he was scoring those gritty goals for them. And then take away Edmondson, So I guess in reality, Ian, it's a different team. You know what I mean? If this was the exact same team this year, I'd actually be really mad. But I'm still upset with how they're playing, and it's a shame to watch. But I'll tell you the same thing I tell everybody, and I hope you guys can respect this. I watch every single game, and I sat there and watched that clock or that scoreboard turn 6-0 Pittsburgh because I get the reason to go up to Montreal and celebrate when they're winning. I know so many fans of Montreal, and I know both of you guys probably saw this, that just came out of the woodwork last year. Yeah, you know what? Oh, my uncle's a Habs fan, so I am right now too. No. You don't get to just all of a sudden be a Habs fan when they're good. I'm a Habs fan when they're losing 6-0 to Pittsburgh, so I can be a Habs fan when they're in the Stanley Cup Finals, But I think the team's different this year, Ian. That's my biggest thing. But yeah, I'm upset with their defensive play big time.
There you go. And I assume you're passing on this game.
You know what? It's a good little mini segue to myself. I actually like the over in this game. I've pretty much have been staying off Montreal's sides. If I haven't been fading them, I think I've bet on them once and it won, and I kind of just took that as a token. But I like the over in this game. I think I've actually had a pretty good read on Canadiens totals. And based on some of the quotes I saw out of the last game, I'm not a huge quotes guy, as you know. I think some people that handicap take too much into quotes, but it seems like it's going to be a kitchen sink type of game. If you can bet a shots on goal prop for some of these Habs players, I would do it. But I mean, right now it's hard to really think that they're going to play a good defensive game. So give me the over.
All right, liking the over here in this one. Saros, by the way, 2-0 against Montreal, 3 goals in the 2 starts combined against Montreal. He's played well against Montreal. He's playing well right now overall. We'll see if Montreal can kickstart their offense. They got to kickstart everything. The defense stunk the other night. They got shut out. Obviously, they got to put the puck in the net too. So we'll see what Montreal brings to the table, the struggling Habs tonight. Pittsburgh and Toronto. We've got the Leafs -155 to -160. Home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. The Penguins, of course, we just talked about it. They shut out Montreal 6-0. Hey, they found out they could actually win with Sidney Crosby. Wow, amazing. They actually struggled to win with him.
And Jimmy and I made the call.
Yeah.
Crosby to score.
Exactly, to score a goal, and he scored the very first goal of that game. Great call indeed. Crosby to find the back of the net against Montreal. He did just that. So a much-needed win. Pittsburgh was kind of struggling before that, including the loss at home to Buffalo earlier in the week. But they finally got a victory under their belt with Crosby and most of their key players back. We'll see if they can keep it up here tonight against Toronto. I don't know if they will, though. This Leaf team is feeling it. They're as locked in, guys, defensively with their team defense game from Jack Campbell, from the goalie out, as I've ever seen it in the last few years. And that's given them the chance to win. They've all talked about, all the, Riley, Matthews, Marner, Nylander, they're comfortable in these lower scoring close games. They feel, hey, when we're in these games, we don't panic now. We can find ways to win them. We've got the confidence to do that. This game, I think Toronto will find a way as well. I like the Leafs in regulation here. This is a game that I think Toronto's up for. They had one of their worst games of the year against Pittsburgh earlier this year, 7-1. It was early in the year. Remember, it was when the Leafs were kind of in shambles a little bit. They were kind of falling apart just for a little bit there early in the season. And one of those losses was Pittsburgh, 7-1. They didn't have anybody in the lineup that night. I mean, Crosby was out. It was a AHL type of lineup for the Pittsburgh Penguins that night. And the Leafs just, it was just a cataclysmic display of errors in that game against Pittsburgh earlier this season. 7-1 loss. It was just a horrendous game on their part. I think and the media in Toronto will remind them of that loss today. That's going to be the case, no question. And I think different Toronto team now, though, with the way they've played. And look, Pittsburgh, they beat up a Montreal team that's reeling right now. Let's not forget Pittsburgh was struggling before that win. So I think this is a Leaf spot here. They're playing great hockey. They've got Campbell tonight, which means they're probably going to play Joe Wall, the backup goalie, against the Islanders on the road tomorrow night. So they got Campbell tonight. He's been lights out. They've been winning with him at home. He's been brilliant lately. The defense has been good. So I'm going to go with Toronto in regulation here in this one. A little dose of payback for getting absolutely annihilated in Pittsburgh earlier this season. So for me, it'll be Leafs in regulation at -120, -115, -120 in this game. Andrew, your thoughts, or Jimmy, we'll go to you, Penguins and Leafs.
Yeah, it's a tough one on the side here. I mean, the Penguins about to go on a little streak here. If they, what does that Montreal win do for them there? Montreal, as you said, not a great team, but is it the confidence builder they needed to carry over? Oh my God, sorry, I distracted here. Liverpool just almost scored. But I'm liking goals in this. I'm liking a lot of goals in this game, guys. So I'm going to go with the over in this, over 5.5.
That's how you know it's a Saturday, Jimmy. I love it. That's how you know it's a Saturday. We've got college football, college basketball now, English Premier League. It's a great day.
And hockey.
Yeah, it's a great day.
Yeah.
No doubt. Hockey later on. Yep. CFL even, although the games mean nothing today now. But nevertheless, definitely lots going on here on a Saturday. So, your eyes are going all over the place. But, I mean, the total's tricky. It's Pittsburgh. I could see that being high scoring, but the way the Leafs are playing right now, they've just been dragging everybody into the mud, so to speak, into these 2-1, 2-0, 3-0, 2-1 type of games. I mean, especially at home. The last 3 home games, 2-1, 3-0, 2-1. Low scoring, great defense. Campbell's been lights out. So I could go either way with the total in this one. Andrew, your thoughts, Penguins and Leafs?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those interesting things where we've looked at this Maple Leafs team as an under team. They've played much better defensively. Campbell is top 3, if not top 2 in a lot of the goaltending stats right now across the NHL. And you got to love that guy. You see him in post-game interviews, very humble, talks a lot just about the team effort, the defenseman in front of him. And I think some credit has to go towards the defenseman as well for the Maple Leafs, because I've come on here, I think many people give them, lots of flack for the kind of stuff we see out of them some nights. But Sheldon Keefe and his team and his coaching staff have definitely implemented some new tactics. There's no doubt in my mind. I told you that the other day I was reading a really interesting article about some things that they've changed, and it really seems to have worked. It seems like they're kind of, letting the forwards do their thing and telling the defensemen to just stay back. Last year, I remember during the playoffs against Montreal, Morgan Rielly kept on joining the rush, jumping up and trying to play that fourth forward role. When you have as much talent that they do, you don't need these defensemen to get involved and jump into the rush. And that's what we've really seen out of them this season, at least over the past 4 or 5 games. And I feel like that's made a difference. But I'm on the exact same side as our man, Jimmy here. I think that we'll see lots of goals. And it's been kind of rare to see, an absolute goal fest involving the Leafs this year. But that revenge factor is huge, like you said. And I'm actually, Jimmy, I'm like you. I believe in momentum quite a bit. And I think that I don't care if it was, against the Montreal Canadiens or not. I think that you saw the puck go in that a bunch. Your captain got on the board for the first time this season. And now you're playing a quality team. So I'm just going to stay off the side in this game, but I feel like we'll see quite a few goals here.
All right, liking the over here. And I'm going to the bargain bin for goal scorer prop tonight. This guy has played at a ridiculously good level since the contract extension a few weeks ago. Morgan Rielly of the Leafs. I'm talking about a defenseman, not a forward goal scorer prop, a defenseman. He scored 2 the other night against the Rangers. He scored the game winner against Buffalo last Saturday. And I don't know what it is, and he's talked about it. He's jumping up in the play more. He's trying to shoot the puck more, look for, opportunities to shoot the puck, be involved in the offense when the puck's in the offensive zone. And, the last 3 games, he's had games where he's had no shots on goal, 1 shot on goal. The last 3 games, he's had 4, 5, and 2 shots on goal. Morgan Rielly, that is. And, of course, he scored 3 goals in the last 3 games combined as well. He's plus 500 to score a goal tonight. Bargain bin shopping for me right there. Morgan Rielly, goal scorer prop tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hopefully I'm not too late to the party, but plus 500 with him, shooting the puck a lot lately at that price. Sign me up. All right, the New York Islanders, they christen a new crib, if you will. They open up the brand new building, UBS Arena, hosting the Calgary Flames. We've got pretty much even money, minus 110, minus 115 with the Islanders as home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. Now, there are some COVID-19 concerns here for the New York Islanders going into this game. Anders Lee entering COVID protocol, Josh Bailey entering COVID protocol, and obviously Anders Lee, you'll miss him. But to be honest with you, Anders Lee's had a little bit of a tepid start to the year, 4 goals, no assists, only 4 points so far, but still miss him. He's their captain. Bailey will be out as well. And of course, Ryan Pulock, due to injury, out with a lower body injury. So, I was ready full bore to take the Islanders here. And I'm still going to take the Islanders. Don't get me wrong. And I do like them here in this spot. I think even without Lee and Bailey and Pulock on the blue line, they'll get the job done here against Calgary. Calgary's not playing on the road quite as well as they did earlier this year. Remember, they lost to Philly earlier this week. They are off a shutout win against Buffalo in their last game. But even without Lee and without Pulock and without Bailey, the Islanders are beyond excited, beyond enthused to be at home playing this first home game. And I expect them to bring a pretty strong game. So, yeah, you do get concerned. There's a couple key players out for the Islanders, but it's still a home run spot for them, and it's one I'm still going to back them in. So I like the Islanders here, -110, -115. Jimmy, Flames, Islanders.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this the other night, right? The Islanders were a good spot to bet against when they were in Florida. Well, now, even with those injuries, I'm with you, Ian. I think it's a great spot for them right now. And I'm actually going to go and take the Islanders on the regulation line in this. The Islanders to win in regulation. I like the value you can get there. I think they come out fired up and they pull off the win.
Yeah, that's +135, +140 you're looking at here with the New York Islanders in regulation for Jimmy in this one. Andrew, Calgary, and the New York Islanders.
Small play here on Calgary for me. I don't like to react to COVID stuff, but I am, I guess, a little bit. But I also am going to just stick to the theory. First game back at home. I know they've had plenty of rest. What happened with there's teams like Seattle, there's teams like Vegas, but there's also just teams in general. That first game at home doesn't just automatically mean a win. So we'll see. But I will say this. I think that if they win the game, we're going to see some goals. I don't think it'll be, and despite those guys being out in the protocol, I got a feeling it's going to be a sloppy game. I don't see a typical Islanders defensive game tonight.
All right. Boston, Philadelphia. We've got Boston -135, road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Bruins and Flyers, they played last month. Philly won 6-3 against the Boston Bruins. This will be their second meeting of the season. Boston, they have not played since very early in the week. Actually, it was last Sunday that they last played Boston, a 5-2 win against the Montreal Canadiens. And then, of course, they they beat Jersey on the Saturday a week ago. The day before that, 5-2. We've talked about this, and Jimmy has been beating this drum with the Bruins. They're an over team right now. They can still score. We've seen that on display. Not that same blue line that we trust to lock it down and shut opposing teams down, though, like we've seen in the past. We'll see if that carries over to this game tonight against Philly. Philly's one of those teams they were trending under in a bunch of games consecutively. But the last two of the last three have gone over. They lost 4-3 in a shootout to the Tampa Bay Lightning the other night in that game. So we'll see if the Flyers are capable of bouncing back here. You're going to tell me Linus Ullmark and Martin Jones are going to be in net, and that is the confirmed goalie matchup here. Ullmark 3.01 goals against average, .903 save percentage. I'll be honest, Martin Jones has been, for the most part, better than I expected for the Flyers. Not the last time he was in net, though, against Dallas. 4 goals on 30 shots in that 5-2 loss to Dallas the last time he was in net. So at a 5.5, I could only look over the total here. Jimmy, Boston, Philly.
Yeah, see, I'm worried, just for what you mentioned there, the way Philly's been trending there. And then you put in Jeremy Swayman, who's been playing some great hockey. So you kind of getting a nice goalie stool here. I'm going to go the other way. I like the under in this game, guys. I like just both goalies. Carter Hart's been
with Swayman. It's not Swayman tonight. It's Ullmark.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's Ullmark tonight. You're right. My bad.
Yep.
My bad. Well, that changes things.
Uh-oh.
Sorry
I'm telling
about that,
the Bruins reporter what's going on here. That's a bad sign here.
Hey, today's not my day. Today's my day off. I'm not supposed to know this stuff.
That's good. No, that means you're having a good day off watching Liverpool.
That drastically changes things, guys, because Ullmark has been an absolute mess in my eyes, and he's just too. He'll have some stretches within games where he's lights out, and then he'll have stretches where he can't stop a beach ball. So give me the over in this. And also, I'm going to go with the Flyers in this, guys. Flyers on the money line to win this game, just because I don't like this long layoff for the Bruins. I don't like the form that the Bruins have been in. I know they won their last game, but again, that was against the Canadiens. So I like the Flyers to take this win. They played them well the last time. They played them well throughout the preseason. They seem to have the Bruins number. So give me the Flyers to win this and give me the over.
I'm with you on the side. I would only look Philadelphia from a side because they've been in this pattern, Philly, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Well, this is their spot to win, right? That's been the pattern. They win one, lose one for the last like 8 or 9 games for the Philadelphia Flyers. And look, even in the losses, they beat Carolina. They hung in. There was a close game with Toronto. They beat Washington. They could have beat Pittsburgh in overtime. They've been right in every single game for the most part, even in the games they've lost. They were up on Tampa Bay before the Lightning came back and beat them in a shootout the other night. So I'm with you. I would only take the Flyers as a home dog here. I think it's a little, and plus usually the rest is a good thing. You haven't played in a week, but I don't know. They had 1-2 in a row, and all of a sudden you're not playing in 6 days. Does it throw off their momentum a little bit, the Bruins? We'll see. Andrew, what do you think here, Boston and Philly?
I'm just celebrating with Jimmy real quick about Liverpool. I do have them in a money line parlay.
And
so.
let me just tell you guys too. The reason I was thinking Swayman, I think, is because I'm just looking at some tweets coming from the game day skate in Philly, and the one tweet as I said that was a picture of Jeremy Swayman with the goalie coach Bob Asenza. So I think it was just he was stuck in my head there. I apologize.
Jimmy, you're allowed to mess up, man. And it's your day off, like you said. So
I haven't even cracked a drink yet. Maybe I need to crack a drink right now.
It'd be different if you were heading to the game tonight.
That's important to note. No work duties for the Bruins today for Jimmy, so he's allowed that to happen.
Yeah. I saw that Liverpool and Notre Dame were playing during the day, I was just like, you know what? No way. I'm taking the day off. So.
You know what I mean, Jimmy?
Budweiser.
But
never mind that Budweiser. Get some craft beer going. Get some better stuff going.
I always keep that stuff locked and loaded around the house. But I'm on the over in this game. I expect some goals here. I love when Jimmy tells me negative things about a Bruins goaltender because they used to always be an under team for me. But lately, I've been getting some good words from Jimmy about backing overs, and I'll pick my spots for an under with them. And would you guys call this a rivalry? I mean, I'd say this is sort of a rivalry. It's one that's definitely been out there for a little while, I think, and both these teams are I'd say relatively top heavy right now. So if the goal scorers come out to play, we'll see it. A 5.5 look like a low total here in this one, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely it's
1 note 2 guys. Just go ahead, Ian.
Oh, go ahead. No, it's all good.
I was just saying 1 note 2. Craig Smith is coming back. Smith back in the lineup for the Bruins today. Just FYI.
He was a great prop guy in the playoffs last year, Jimmy. I took him a lot for props last year, like points and stuff like that. Because Pasta and Marshy, some of those guys are bad odds.
Yeah, I don't know what the injury is, guys. But one thing I've noticed, too, is if you watch him carefully, if you are watching that game tonight, like I was thinking of maybe doing him on a goal prop. First game back, he's going to be pretty energized. But at the same time, the injury, I think it's somewhere – like in the rib area, because I've seen him, he's not able to wind up as much on his shot. And I think that's what's been nagging him there. It's something in that area there. And he's not, one of his greatest strengths is that quick shot coming down the wing. So something to keep an eye on there with Craig Smith.
Definitely something to keep an eye on for sure. He's been a good veteran player, had some good years in Nashville, before he got to Boston, but definitely still a boost. It widens the lineup, deepens the lineup, I guess you could say, for Bruce Cassidy with him back. So definitely keep an eye on that. And yeah, Charlie Coyle's played better late. Charlie Coyle had a nice weekend last weekend offensively for the Bruins. So there's someone to keep an eye on maybe for value, goal score, prop, shots on goal. Those kind of props, maybe you look in that direction for sure. All right, before we get to our next game, let's talk DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. They have an unbelievable offer to celebrate the greatest sport on ice. New customers can bet just $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. It doesn't matter if it's a one-timer, a deflection, a breakaway. However they light the lamp, you win. If DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state, they won't leave you empty-handed. You can still play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings daily fantasy sports contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Throw down $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. This week, one puck in the net nets you a big win with promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Must be 21 years of age or older. Must reside in a DraftKings Sportsbook state. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Sign up for an account and use the promo code THPN. All right, we move on the Saturday card. We got 5 games left. Detroit and Arizona. Detroit minus 150. Road favorites, 5.5 the total in this one. So I would only look to the Detroit side here in this game. I'm debating how I want to bet it if I decide to bet it, because I don't really want to lay minus 150 on the road. I might look in regulation here instead at plus 110 with Detroit, but this is a little bit of a step down in class for them. I mean, it's been a tough road trip. They've lost all 3 games on it: Columbus, Dallas, Vegas. But definitely a step down in class here against Arizona. We've talked incessantly this year that a lot of teams are going to look at Arizona as their bounce back, get right game this year. This could be it here for Detroit. I know they've kind of struggled lately. So I'll probably end up on Detroit in regulation for some kind of bet here. Don't love it. Wedgwood's played good, and they're riding Wedgwood again. And he's going to be in net here. He's given them a chance to win a lot of games lately that he's been in net for the Coyotes. But I still think I would side with Detroit here. I mean, they don't want to go 0-4 on the road trip and have the last game be a loss to Arizona on that road trip before they go home and play St. Louis after this. So for me, I would only look toward Detroit, and I think for better value, I would go in regulation here, plus 110. Jimmy, Red Wings, Coyotes.
Yeah, this is a Jimmy pass for me, guys. No feel on this.
No feel on this whatsoever. Andrew,
Like
Detroit, Arizona. Yeah, Detroit, Arizona. What do you think?
I'll just say this. I think that a good point by Michael in the live chat here. I think that there's been 1 or 2 games where Arizona has gone to OT or shootout and lost. And in general, I know people love to play the regulation, but don't be afraid to just tie Arizona into a parlay. I mean, some people that are old-fashioned bettors love to slander on parlays, but that's only because these new age level, like same-game parlays with, 10 teams. And it's all because social media's fault, because you see Bleacher Report tweeting out these, winners the guys are having for like $50K off like a $10 bet, and it makes everyone thinks that's going to happen to them. But there's nothing wrong with a 2 to 3 teamer. And if you really like one team tonight as your best bet, and I'll get to that at the end of the show for my best bet, why not throw in the team that's playing the Arizona Coyotes? That's kind of the way I look at it. Boost your odds a little bit. And, if they get a win, that's very rare. Do it again the next game. I know it sounds simple, but that's what I'll be doing to try and boost some odds. And I don't think you guys would really disagree with that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with that whatsoever. It makes sense. By the way, I knew I saw something earlier this year where Detroit was in this same spot, winless on the road trip, but they played some good teams, and then they ended the road trip with a win. And that did happen earlier this year. They lost to Toronto, Montreal, and Boston consecutively. The 4th game of that road trip, they beat Buffalo. And this is the same spot here. 3 losses to start the road trip, 4th and final game. I think they can win it here against Arizona. You don't want to go 0-4 on the trip. So I definitely would look toward Detroit here. I actually, Arizona hasn't had a habit of going past regulation. So that's why I'm okay with the regulation bet here. Plus 115, plus 110 in this one. St. Louis, Dallas. We've got Dallas minus 120. Home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. Dallas Stars getting absolutely thumped by Minnesota in their last game, 7-2. Blues off a 4-1 win against San Jose in their last game. Pretty impressive job by St. Louis. Dallas, not so much, obviously. This has been a pretty low-scoring series history between these two teams. There consistently is a different goaltender, it seems, in net on a nightly basis for the Dallas Stars. It's back to Jake Ottinger tonight. And look, I'm shocked he didn't play against Minnesota, because he played well in the last start he got for the Stars. And I'm shocked that Rick Bowness didn't go back to starting him after that, because he played well in his season debut against the Red Wings in the 5-2 win, 28 saves on 30 shots. And the fact they didn't start him against Minnesota was surprising to me. They're going to right the wrong here tonight and go back to the young kid. He's their future. He's as much of a future number 1 goalie as they have in the organization right now, Jake Ottinger. So we'll see if Dallas can bounce back here. I'm not involved in this game, side or total. it's a pass for me. I do think Dallas does have a better chance, though, with this young kid in net. But am I laying a buck 20 with them here in this game? No, I'm not going to do that. Jimmy, what do you think here? Blues, Stars.
Yeah, this is an interesting one right here. I mean, look, we were talking about last week, right? We're so used to Dallas being an under team, and they've had a lot of overs there. The Blues have had some good overs as well. So I'm going with the over on this, guys. Give me that over.
All right, liking the over here, 5.5 at even money in this one. Andrew, St. Louis, Dallas.
Blues money line. Don't just like it. I love it. I'll leave it at that.
There you go. Don't just like it, love it. St. Louis here in this one. Yeah, I mean, Dallas, it's just one step forward, two steps back. I mean, they had the nice couple wins. They had the little bump from the players-only meeting, got a couple wins out of it, and then reality set in again against Minnesota the other night, losing 7-2. So that kind of year so far.
I will say this. I said I'd leave it at that, but I will say this. I always try and jump on teams at the start of a run, especially after they lose a couple in a row here. Sometimes you don't really want to step in front of a team when they're on a losing streak and try and back them. But once they get that one win,
Yep.
They might go on a little run here, and I feel like that's the Blues. I don't think the Stars can match them goal for goal right now.
Yeah, and actually a 5-3 decent road record this year for the St. Louis Blues as well. Not so much for Dallas at home, so I understand what you are saying there, like in St. Louis. Columbus and Vegas. We've got Vegas minus 150, home favorites here, 5.5 being the total in this game. It's another one of those situations I find during the season, and all of a sudden a team starts trending over the total every single game, and you just go with it. And that's what I'm doing here. Columbus, Vegas, over 5.5, 7 straight overs for the Columbus Blue Jackets coming into this game. 4-3 against Jersey, 5-4 with Colorado, 4-2 with Colorado, 4-3 with Washington, 5-3 with the Rangers, 5-3 with Detroit, 5-4 with Arizona. I don't care who you are. You're giving up 4 goals to Arizona. That's a problem. If you're Columbus. And Merzlikins hasn't been as good lately either. Look, it was great early in the year, not so much and in recent starts for the Blue Jackets. We'll see if he's back in net. We have no goalie confirmations yet for this Columbus-Vegas game. You'd expect Leonard to be in net for Vegas here, but you look at the Golden Knights, even with the injuries that they're dealing with, and man, there's a lot. Theodore, Carlson, Martinez, Marchessault, Carrier, all out of the lineup. Pat Chiaretti's still out, but still able to find the back of the net. They have scored 3 goals or more, this Vegas team now, in 4 of their last 5 games. 5-2 win against Detroit in their last game. That's where I'm going to go over the total. It's just, ride it with Columbus. The defensive game has dropped off. They have definitely seen a decline in their play in their own zone lately with the way they've played. And even Merzlikins in net has felt the effects of that team, maybe not playing as well in front of them. So there we go. Columbus, Vegas, over 5.5 for me. Jimmy, Blue Jackets, Golden Knights.
I'm with you on that over. I'm going to jump on that as well, but I'm going to go with the road team here in Vegas, guys, to pull off the upset. I just got a gut feeling about this one. Give me the Columbus Blue Jackets on the money line.
All right, liking Columbus here, plus 130 in this one, and to get the job done here against still a somewhat shorthanded Golden Knights team. Andrew, any thoughts here at Columbus and Vegas?
If I'm playing, I'm doing the same thing as Jimmy, but as of right now, I've passed the game.
All right, Chicago and Edmonton. We've got Edmonton minus 200, home favorites here, 6.5 the total here in this game. Be careful with the over here in this game for one reason. Chicago's really, really played some better team defense since Derek King's been the head coach. And that's the one thing that does concern me here. I know the game went over against Seattle in their last game, the 4-2 victory on Wednesday night, but you needed an empty net goal for that game to go over. And the other 3 games since the coaching change were all unders. So, no, they have played better in terms of their team defense, the Blackhawks. And it has definitely helped them out here going into this game. It's going to be Kevin Lankinen in net for the Blackhawks here tonight in this game against the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, they play Vancouver tomorrow night. We'll see how this one goes. But look, everybody knows I've been riding. The one game I didn't bet them was Arizona because they were, minus 200 favorites. But I've been on Chicago in every game since the coaching change, including the Seattle win the other night as an underdog. I'm doing it. Give me Chicago plus 190 here in this one against Edmonton. You look at the Oilers here. They're coming off a shootout win against Winnipeg, and all of a sudden, they're kind of like the Philadelphia Flyers of the West at the moment. Beat the Rangers in overtime, 6-5, lost the next game. Beat Boston, lost the next game. Beat St. Louis, lost the next game. So they've played a little bit more up and down lately, this Oilers team. I'm liking Chicago here. Again, I like the team effort. I like they're all singing the praises of Derek King, and that's not often you get that with the team in the first few days with the coaching change, especially when they're winning. But this is a live dog to me. Edmonton and Stuart Skinner are not the kind of prop, and he will be in net tonight, by the way, Stuart Skinner for the Oilers. They're not the kind of team that I love in this kind of price range against a surging team that's playing their best hockey of the season right now. I think we have a live dog here. Chicago plus 190. I'm on it. Riding the Blackhawks one more time. No qualms doing it, especially at the price being offered. Jimmy, what do you think here? Oilers, Blackhawks.
I'm with you on this, Ian. I love your philosophy here in this game, and I'm feeling an OT in this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Chicago Blackhawks on the money line in the first period to come out and take the lead and have the lead after one. And then I think Edmonton comes back. I think we end up knotted after 60 and we go to overtime. So give me the draw as well. Chicago first period and the draw.
Chicago, first period and the draw for Jimmy in this one. And, Lankinen's numbers on the year, 3.11, 891 save percent. I get it. They're not great, but he hasn't had many starts for Chicago since the coaching change where they've really played better defensively, blue line out in front of their goalie. So we'll see. And they better be good tonight because, Edmonton and Connor McDavid, we saw it the other night, can make you look silly. He had another highlight reel goal against Winnipeg here. And look, they have a great home record. I get it, but you're paying a price here for Edmonton, in my opinion. Andrew, what do you think here, Chicago, Edmonton?
Well, I'll tell you, I can't wait to see McDavid on Olympic-size ice. That's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see that Olympic team. That's going to be cool. Seeing what he's doing in open ice against, the NHL, just regular teams. I can't wait to see what he's like on the big ice. But I'm on a different side. I think all good things must come to an end. And I wish Alex was here on the show today to hear what he had to say about this, obviously, with his Hawks playing. But I think this is a really, perfect moment to use that expression, because if you look at the teams that they played, the Blackhawks, including the Coyotes, including the Sabres or the Red Wings, you can look at all of these teams that they've played and the way that they've won their games. We're talking about a Kraken team that I was saying for weeks is overvalued, overrated, not as deep as I really think they are. And two goaltenders, not just one, that are not playing to the caliber that we expected out of them. So I'm on the regulation price here. In favor of the Edmonton Oilers. I got it at minus 125. It has since gone up to minus 130, 33. But just, this team, I think it's 3.4 goals per game. That's what the Hawks are giving up. And we're seeing, the Oilers at home are a completely different team. Lankinen versus Koskinen. I'll give that edge to Koskinen. I can't argue.
Skinner tonight. Skinner.
No, yes.
Koskinen, Skinner.
Yes. Sorry, I forgot. But I do understand the angle because you're riding a hot team and a team that's playing well. But I think that you look at the teams that they have played well against, and now it's a test to see if they're really a team that can get the job done. Because let's be honest, you're going from a couple bottom feeders or a team like Seattle that's slumped, and now you're going to Edmonton to play one of the best teams in the league at home.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. But again, we're talking about plus 190. I love the price. Darnell Nurse, by the way, is going to be missed by Edmonton too. That's a good point. 2 to 3 weeks. You're talking about top pair defensemen for this group. There's going to be some shuffling back there for Edmonton on the blue line. It means you're going to we're going to see this Philip Broberg kid who's been called up, and a lot of potential. He's only 20 years old. A high amount of upside, great intellect, great skill and ability from the blue liner, but he still never played in an NHL game. He's going to get in there tonight. Not only that, he's playing on the second pair with Ceci. So it's going to be Russell, Bouchard, Broberg with Ceci, and Keith with Barry, your blue line pairings tonight. And Darnell Nurse has played great, so he will be missed for the Edmonton Oilers. Maybe they can win without him tonight, but moving forward, with the way Darnell Nurse has played the last couple of years, is the reason they paid him in the offseason. He had a great year last year. I'm not just saying that because he's a Hamilton kid, Darnell Nurse. He's a good defenseman, and he'll be missed here for the 3 weeks that he's expected to be out with that finger injury. for the Edmonton Oilers. All right, next up, final game of this Saturday card, Washington, San Jose. Do you know the way to San Jose? Washington minus 120, road favorites, 6 the total in this one. The Capitals with the win against LA the other night, not snapping a losing streak. They only lost the game against Anaheim 3-2 in overtime, but bounced back, beat LA 2-0 in their last game. You got San Jose returning home off a 5-game road trip where they went 2-3. They beat Calgary, lost to Winnipeg and Colorado, beat Minnesota, and then lost the final game against St. Louis the other night. So I don't like San Jose in this spot. San Jose has routinely been bet against fodder for me off a road trip. For years, they've been bad in this kind of situation. And I remember they were in this spot last month, and of all teams, they were playing Andrew's Montreal Canadiens coming off a road trip for their first home game, and they lost that game to obviously a Montreal team that hasn't won many hockey games this year. So not in this spot am I interested in backing San Jose. The question is for Washington, and why is this line so short on them as road favorites? It's because of the injuries at the center ice position. Eller, Backstrom, Nick Dowd, Oshie's still out, so you're really depleted down the middle, but you still might be able to get past San Jose with just in spite of that, because they were able to beat LA, despite those injuries at the center ice position. So for me, I would only look to the Capitals here, just not the spot that I like for San Jose. Jimmy, what do you think here? Capitals, Sharks.
Yeah, if I was going to do anything, I would lean towards the Capitals, but with those injuries up the middle, it's too suspect to me right now. I mean, that is huge when we know that's how teams win, is how deep they are up the middle and what they have between the pipes. So I'm going to pass in this game, guys.
All right, Jimmy's going to pass here. Washington, San Jose. Andrew, Capitals host against the Sharks.
Yeah, Capitals team total over 3.5 is where I've looked in this game. I like their offense recently, and I think that this Sharks team's been very up and down. I've tried to pick my spots with going against them or even backing them, but I just expect them to be mediocre defensively. And I think it might be a little bit of a contrarian pick here because the injuries we have for the Washington Capitals and the people that are out for them. But I think what's made this team great for many years isn't just the grade 8. It's the supporting cast he has around them. So I feel like they'll put some pucks in the net tonight, and a lot of it will have to do with weak defense for San Jose. Yeah,
and another thing to keep in mind, too, about San Jose is Adin Hill's in net, and the boogeyman here, Bob Boughner, keeps putting Adin Hill in there when clearly James Reimer's been the better goalie lately. And he keeps giving Adin Hill these opportunities. And a couple starts ago, he was very good in net, and then the last time out, he was back to struggling again. He gave up 5 goals to the Avalanche, a 6-2 loss. So for some reason, he's just reluctant to just say, I'm going to go with the better goalie at the moment, and that's James Reimer. So he's going back to Adin Hill tonight. I don't know if I agree with that decision. He's kind of struggled lately after that good start to the year. So you factor that into the equation, and you add that to the mix. And yes, that's why, for me, it's only looking toward Washington in this game. All right, great stuff with Andrew and with Jimmy. That is the Saturday card. How about that? We got through all 12 games on the slate. Hope you guys enjoyed it, got some good analysis, good insight, and certainly we wish everybody good luck with their bets on this massive Saturday NHL card. Let's get to best bets to wrap up the show. Jimmy, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
I'm going to go with that first period over in the Panthers and Wild game.
All right, there we go. First period over. 1.5, Minnesota and Florida. That one is currently at, let me just see here. Over 1.5 is around -1. Where are we here? Okay, hold on. There we go. All right. We'll find. For some reason, my screen is freezing on me. But Minnesota, Florida, over 1.5.
Over?
Yeah, Minnesota, Florida, over 1.5 in this one for Jimmy. -130. There we go. Minnesota, Florida, over 1.5, -130. Best bet for Jimmy Murphy. Andrew, best bet.
Yeah, Oilers in regulation. -130 is what I locked in. I think the fun comes to a halt for the Hawks for at least one game.
All right, like in Edmonton in regulation, -130. Best bet for Andrew in this one against the Blackhawks. Best bet for me is it's also in regulation. Toronto in regulation here against Pittsburgh. This one stuck out to me going back to just yesterday. They lost 7-1 to Pittsburgh. They're playing outstanding hockey. The media is going to remind them of how bad it was for them the last time they played this Penguins team. Yes, Pittsburgh snapped a little bit of a skid with a win against Montreal. It's going to be tough here tonight against Toronto. The surging Leafs team playing great at both ends of the ice, a complete game. Jack Campbell has been outstanding, and I still think he's a better goalie than Tristan Jarry. Toronto in regulation here in this one to get the job done at home. Revenge game. That was ugly the last time they played Pittsburgh. I think they turned the tables tonight. Toronto in regulation, -115. Best bet for me on this Saturday card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. We thank everybody for joining us. Hit the like button. If you're watching on YouTube, that definitely helps us out a lot. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week on YouTube, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Download the podcast for the Ice Guys when you can't watch the show live. For Jimmy Murphy and Andrew McInnis, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow on Sunday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.